Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of The Fuckery. We're your disappointed but not surprised co-hosts. I'm Alex.
I'm Addie.
And we just got a very interesting picture sent to our DMs.
Like, we've prefaced this before that we are so popular in the micro wiener community. Ew.
Ambassadors.
Ew. Okay, wait. Oh. So I get this random message from this guy, Zach, ZACCC.007. And he goes, hey, with like the heat face emoji with the tongue out. And I said, the fuck you want, micro dick? And he goes, and he said, and I didn't even know this was one of our micro fans. I just
have to assume at this point.
Yeah. He sends me this picture of his disgusting shriveled up anteater, and he looks like he has tighty whities on, and there's like pee stains.
I thought that was a diaper. Oh no, it is just tighty whities.
It's tighty whities with like his little
Might
pee
be skid
stain.
marks then.
I thought it looked like pee.
I don't know, but there's something wrong with you people.
Yeah, and it's really, honestly, it's an ugly fucking dick. That is ugly. And I was
None of them are ever manscaped.
He's like, I was like, you have pee stain in your diaper. He's like, I've been out all day drinking. It's Christmas, babe. Like,
oh, so that explains it. Oh, okay, no problem.
And then I was like, do you wear your diaper to the par? He goes, that's Emporio Armani, designer boxers.
So you just put skid marks in them?
Oh, I think he took, ew. What the fuck? This is one of the ugliest wieners I've ever seen.
Wow, that's pretty bad. And we've seen bad ones.
We've seen bad ones. Guys, I don't know how we've become so popular in the micro wiener community. It's amazing.
I know. It's like a whole movement.
It's a movement.
It's like Free Britney, except it's with micro wieners.
Free the anteater pee-pee. Why do they all have bushes?
I don't know. Makes it look bigger?
Dude, this is disgusting. Like, his pubes take over everything. It's like a quarter of an inch of pubes and then like a half an inch wiener.
Yeah, it's gross.
Gross. Anyway, well, you know what, guys? We have to share it. Since we get these photos, we have to share them as gifts to you guys.
That's true. We can't be the only ones suffering, even though we asked for it.
No, we didn't.
Well, I mean, we did the micro dick episode, and then everybody wants to DM us now.
It's amazing. We even had a guy that was supposed to come on tonight, a sissy, that was sending us pictures of him in like skirts and shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He sissied out. So hopefully next week or something like that, we get him on.
And we literally just got another micro dick picture DM as we speak.
Why am I not surprised?
I'm not really disappointed either. No, I'm kidding.
Yo, we aren't kidding that we are the queens of the micro community. And they all text us the same thing, SPH. So anybody that doesn't know what SPH is, it means small penis humiliation. I had to look that up. I had no fucking clue what it meant.
I had no idea either. I'm like,
and I was like,
sunscreen?
What? Wait, we had one guy that thought it meant like a rapper thing too. We have this one micro guy, Marty Beans, that DMs us, but I accidentally called him Mary. And so like he gets really fucking pissed off all the time. But we asked him if he was into it because he sent us his little winky. And what did he say? He's like, what did he think SPH meant? He starts like naming his favorite rap artist.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? And he's like, where is it? He's like Eminem. And we're like, he's like, I like rap songs and country music. None of this rapper shit. He thought it was like some rap song or whatever it was.
Jesus Christ.
I don't even know. Anyway.
Like, just Google it, Mary.
But no, we had to Google it too. We didn't know what the fuck SPH meant either. But it's like a fucking movement. Like, that's like all we get from these weirdos is SPH ? Or it's just they send a picture of their little micro and is like, hey, can you put me in a group to humiliate me?
Exactly. They're like, add your friends to the group.
Yeah. So we've done it before and we've told you guys that we've like done it. Like we had some guy write like, Bart Simpson rocks on his stomach and take pictures walking down his stairwell of his fucking apartment complex with his micro dick out. That thing looked like a little grape. It was so gross.
Yeah, they're all really disgusting. Like, no offense, but
They're fucking, and they're pubes. They all have pubes on them. It's all one big Brillo bush. It's disgusting. And you can't even see their little fucking dick of a mouse.
But did
mouse
you-
of a dick.
But did you realize or know that even there are some people with normal sized dicks that like to be humiliated, and like we would be like, oh, your dick is so small, but it's really not. Like, it's average.
Yeah, so we actually looked into it a little bit, and like people in like there's a subreddit on like Reddit, it's SPH, and we looked at that and it was all huge cocks, but they all want to be humiliated too into being like, haha, you have a small dick, even though their cocks are fucking like elephant trunks.
So I need to know what like the psychology behind that is. Like, what makes you want to be degraded and humiliated by people? I wouldn't want that.
If I ever said that to a guy that I was fucking, like, hey, nice small dick. Yo, if I said that to my boyfriend,
He'd be so offended.
he wouldn't talk to me. That would be the equivalent of him, like, calling me fat.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't talk to him. We had actually a fight the other night about it. He's
Really?
like, I'll go to the couch. Because he's like, all your muscle is weighing down on me or something. And I was like leaning on him and I was like, you called me fat.
Oh my God, but wait, that's almost as bad as the I see you had the cappuccino or whatever the fuck.
Oh, yeah, no. I said, okay, so like Alex knows this. So I got in another fight with my boyfriend, side note. But like I fucking had a latte and we like joke around with each other. And I was like, oh, I had a latte today. And he grabs my love handle and he goes, ha, this is where that latte went. And like grabs my fat bulge.
Yo, that's so inappropriate and crossing the line.
Yeah, and I look at him and I was like, that's not nice. I'm going to bed. And then like later that night, like we're in bed and I was like, I'm not going to go to bed mad at you, but that was not nice and you can't say things like that. And I was like, but I forgive you. But we're going to bring this up on every anniversary of the comment that you said the latte. And of course I told all his friends and family, his mom, I was like, he made fun of my fat.
What did she say?
They were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But like, no, that's like the equivalent of like calling a girl fat. Like if I said something to them like, haha, your dick is small.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
they would be so fucking pissed. But then what? Yeah, you're right. Like, I want to know what the psychology is behind this that makes them so into being humiliated. It's the cuckolding fetish.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the
Right.
degradation.
But okay, this is for the listeners. Are there any female listeners out there that like to be degraded too? Like, do you want a man to say to you like, oh, your vagina is disgusting. You look like you have roast beef danglers from Arby's.
I would never speak to that man again if he called my danglers Arby's curtains.
Me neither.
Not like they are, but like... Like if somebody pulled down my pants and was like, yo, Arby's, I'd be like, no. Come and take a bite of this hoagie. But I feel like men like that more than females. But I also think, like, I read a blog on it regarding the gender roles, how the men are supposed to be the more dominating ones than the females, but it's like the reversal role of it all that they get turned on by. And that's maybe why like women don't like it, but the women get turned on by being the dom and making fun of the guys.
Right.
I don't know one girl, unless it's like some taboo thing that girls don't talk about, that enjoy being humiliated.
Yeah.
Unless like maybe the feeders do, but that's different. That's a form of like fat fetish.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I want you to worship my pussy, not make fun of it. And that's it.
Exactly. That's the only way it should be. But there's like these group of men. Like I think there was like, what did we look at the SPH group? There was like 18,000 men in that group of small penis humiliation. And then there's like different ones. Like that one's SPH. And then there's other ones like what is it? It's small penis humiliation. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like an actual like written out instead of SPH. And there's like 32,000 members in that one. And it's like we get a new one every single day.
We were just saying that we must have had like 100 in the past year. And before this whole podcast thing, I didn't even know that many people had a micro dick.
Right.
Like I thought it was like 1 in a million. It's
like
not. It's like
lot.
1 in 50. Seriously.
You've come across one in real life, right?
Yes. It was the size of a walnut.
Yeah, the walnut. Yeah. And he had like a lot of money too. So it was one of those like almost like a Napoleon syndrome type things where he like,
right.
I guess he got so rich to compensate.
Has to be because nobody's fucking you for the good sex.
Right.
They're fucking you for the black card. Like,
I never had a micro, but in college, there was one guy on spring break that was really tiny.
well, I didn't fuck him.
I didn't
walnut.
fuck the
I just
spring
saw
break
it.
guy too.
Oh, thank God.
You couldn't. No.
No.
But his friends warned me like, yo, because I was like making out with him or whatever. And we like all hung out in a group. And like they warned me, they're like, yo, his dick's really small. And I was like, okay. But then he's married and has kids because we like remain Facebook friends because
That's
you
weird.
friended Facebook, you know, with everybody when you went on spring
Yeah,
break with them
yeah.
or whatever. Oh shit. Wait.
What?
The guy from that was supposed to interview tonight just texted and said he can interview. All right, guys.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. This answers all of our questions, actually. So, guys, here is our guest for the night. It's Sissy Kylie. Hey, Sissy Kylie. How are you?
Hey, I'm well. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Sissy Kylie. I'm a sissy, and I go by the name Kylie.
What is a sissy?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you describe a sissy as?
Yeah, so basically, okay, there's a couple different things that go into it, but a sissy is more specifically someone who, if we're talking in like the realm of fetishes, right, like sexual fetishes, then like a sissy is someone who likes to dress up or be forced to dress up more so. Like they more so like the idea of being forced to act feminine or act girly, if you will. They like to be forced to dress up in girls' clothes, forced to wear makeup, a wig, whatever. They like to be forced to take on more feminine mannerisms. Sometimes that may be just like the way they walk or how they talk, how they act. And they like to be just like basically humiliated for taking on these female characteristics. And they like to kind of be forced to do so. And like it's usually you follow a submissive role to a dominant or someone who is maybe non-dominant but is switch or whatever. But usually you take on a very submissive role and kind of obey the person who you're having an interaction with.
That's kind of cool. So and you just sent us, like, how did you find us? Did you find us? You found us through Instagram because you sent us a bunch of pictures in like lingerie and dresses and high heels and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I actually on Instagram, I search a lot of stuff in the fetish world. I have like a lot of fetishes, you name it, and I pretty much have it or I've done it. But yeah, so I was just like looking at a lot of different things, and somehow I can't recall what I was looking at, but I came across your guys' page, and then I saw that you did podcasts and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, I was like really interested in like what you did, and then I've never like been on a podcast or anything before or done any of that, but
First time for
I figured
everything.
I'd reach out.
Yeah.
Right. So I figured I've had a lot of first time for everything. So, but yeah, so I figured I'd reach out and kind of see what y'all were about, and then kind of just go from there. I wasn't really expecting you guys necessarily to respond, but it's cool that you did, and I was like excited to talk to you.
Well, you look good in your outfit, so.
Yeah. You
Thank
look better
you.
than I do in heels.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, unfortunately, it's really hard to find heels in my size. It's tough to find a size like 13 women's heel.
Seriously?
So,
I would think it would be so accessible, especially nowadays, because like especially with the trans world and everybody's,
well,
That's huge for a
it's
woman, though.
yeah. That's a
So.
big
yeah,
size shoe though.
I get it in the sense of like online shopping probably, but like I want to go like in-store shopping to find it. Um, yeah, so that's why like it's hard for me to find heels in that size.
So how'd you get into this?
Oh gosh, well, it dates back pretty far. When I was like, okay, so bear with me here, but it's quite anyway, I'll try and give you the brief rundown, but it goes back to about when I was maybe 7 years old, 6 years old, somewhere around there. I remember I would dress up in my younger sister's clothes. She was only a couple years younger than me, and I didn't do it like necessarily with anyone home. Like this was when like maybe everyone was downstairs or like people were outside or whatever. And I was like the only one upstairs, and I would go into her room and like try on clothes, like whether it be like a swimsuit or a skirt or whatever it was. And at this age, you don't really know why you're doing that, you know?
Right.
And I didn't really know much about, like obviously sexual fetishes at all. I didn't really know what sex was, didn't know what a fetish was. Then I stopped that. I can't recall exactly when, but I know I did it a couple times. And I do recall when I was younger that I definitely got like turned on by it. And I didn't know why, but anyway, now looking back at it, I remember in high school, age like, I don't know, this would have been a while ago, but yeah, back in high school, I started dressing up again, in like the latter half of high school. I had dressed up for Halloween as a girl a couple of times in middle school and high school and didn't really think much of it. But then I really like, it was just for a joke or a gag, whatever. But then like I really started like finding a lot of stuff on porn when I was in high school, as most high schoolers do. And yeah, I really found a lot of different things that kind of triggered me. I wasn't necessarily searching for them. You just kind of come across them. I mean, I was searching all kinds of stuff, but it was more so like, pretty much straight original porn, if you will. But I came across some things and looked into them a little bit more and found there were some things that turned me on. Like one of the first things I saw was pegging. And I was like, this is interesting. And like, I found that it really turned me on. Just a girl with a strap on who was pegging a guy. And I was like, okay. And then that led down the rabbit hole to all kinds of things like female domination, led to sissification, forced feminization. I'm not really into like findom. I know I've listened to like a couple of your podcasts on findom, but like I'm not really necessarily into that. And there's like all lots of different things that I found, but like sissification, forced feminization, like female domination. I found stuff with transsexuals on there, which I really found I liked. Just like a female like that has a dick, essentially, tits and a dick, kind of like the best of both worlds. Yeah, and those things just really turned me on. And then I started like experimenting my senior year of high school. I wound up actually hooking up with my first guy. Am I talking too much?
No, we're listening.
We're
We're very
intrigued.
intrigued. Yeah, no, keep going.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so like I wound up actually like hooking up with the first guy I ever hooked up with, some dude I actually had class with, and I knew he was gay, but like I had like messaged him like on Facebook or something a year after like I had class with him. This was like as I graduated, and we actually like met up, and I sucked his dick in the back of my dad's car.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I like was super like nervous about it. And then I was like, yeah, I don't really know if I want to do that ever again. Like after it happened, and I just felt super like weird and felt pretty bizarre for like a week after that. And then I was like, whatever. And then like, I don't know, I just kept on like seeing stuff that I liked again on porn. And I was like, dang, like I could do this again, you know? And it took me a while to go do that again, but I actually met up with a trans girl this time. And this was someone else who was also from my high school, had just graduated. And we hooked up. And this is actually a pretty funny story. So same thing in the back of my dad's car again. And
Your poor dad's car.
yeah. So
Sorry, Dad.
yeah, exactly. Sorry. And I wound up. So we wound up hooking up in the back of the car, but like this time, like I'd never had sex before, like with a man or a trans woman. But like I'd really wanted to, and so and me being obviously more into like sissy stuff and stuff like that, I'm more so a bottom when it comes to that. Although like in traditional roles, like I'm pansexual. I like all people really.
Okay.
Never really see myself necessarily dating a guy or being romantically attracted. Only more so physically. I'm really only romantically and emotionally, intellectually attracted to females.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So with this trans woman, that's why I was like, okay, like a trans woman, someone like I'm a little bit more down for, right? Like someone who has a female, like looks like a female, kind of wants to think and kind of act and thinks like a female,
That has a
also
dick.
like has a dick,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, okay, this is great. Like my girlfriend can fuck me, kind of thing. So yeah, so we hooked up, and like I was riding her dick, and I was just like bouncing on that shit in the back of the car, and then it was like amazing. Like I was like in heaven, and like I had fingered myself before and stuff like that, and toyed myself, but like not with like a dildo or anything. But yeah, and then a cop pulls up behind us.
Stop.
Oh God.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Licensing your
kid
dad's
you.
registration.
Oh my god, I kid you not. I'm like, what? I'm barely 18. So at the time, I'm like barely 18, and the cop pulls up behind me, and this is like right, like I can say all kinds of vulgar stuff on this, right? Or
Yeah, you can say whatever you
Okay.
want.
And this is like right as I'm coming. Like I'm riding this trans girl's dick and I'm coming, and I'm just like, oh my god, it feels amazing. And like talk about a freaking buzzkill. Like this cop pulls up right behind me, and I like the car just shines lights. I'm like heart attack. So like I'm over here like pulling my panties up and like pulling up my skirt, and I'm like, oh my god. And yeah, so I had to get out of the car, and like we hopped into the driver and passenger seat like so quick. I don't know how we did it. And yeah, so he let us go. Nothing really happened. I was just like, oh my god, I had an absolute heart attack. And after that, I laid low for a while. Yeah, I didn't do much after that for a while, but I had a few girlfriends here and there after that, and then I went into college right after that summer, and that's when I really started like experimenting a lot.
Did you ever
And-
tell your girlfriends that you like to dress up?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I had one girlfriend in high school. Like, I told her like I like all these things that are like all these kinky things, and wanted her to dominate me and stuff like that. Like, and we did a little bit of that, and we wound up like not really hitting it off too well and ended that relationship anyway. But I feel like she was like a little bit weirded out with it, but didn't really say much. But in college, I was like, I kept it on the down low. I didn't really say much about it. I actually wound up meeting this trans girl on Tinder, and she's like smoking. Like she's so fine. Or no, it wasn't Tinder. There's a girl I met on Tinder, and I wound up telling her like, hey, this is how I am. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll be friends with you, but I don't necessarily want to date you, kind of thing. I was like, that's cool. So we wound up becoming friends. She's like, hey, if you like trans girls and stuff, you probably really like my friend, and like maybe she could help you out with how you are. Anyway, introduced me to her friend, and her friend was like smoking. I finally get a date with her friend, yeah. So
Did you hook up
what
with
was it?
her?
Oh, so yeah, she and I finally went on a date, and then we actually hooked. Uh, she was like I was the top in this situation. Like I was topping her, and it was like really good though. Like I loved it. I actually really started to have feelings for her, and it was weird because I didn't ever date a trans girl and have feelings for them, and didn't know if I would. She wound up breaking it off with me for whatever reason. Why? Didn't really tell me a whole lot about it. Um, but I did tell her like how I was, and I think it just kind of turned her off as to how I was because I think she's like, oh, like you want to be me, you don't want me, you want to be me, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I don't look at
And
it that way.
yeah, well, that's kind of how like she said it one time. She's like, oh, like I don't think you want me, like I think you want to be me, and I was like, well, like sometimes like I wish I was you, but like as far as like there are lots of times where I'm confused. Like, do I want to transition, or is this just like sexual fetish kind of thing? Um,
Do you think you
but
might
yeah,
transition, or no? You just think that you just like dressing in women's clothing and being a sissy. It's different from drag, and it's different from trans being a sissy, obviously, right? Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So
obviously
like,
different from drag because drag is more of a performance, but do you think you would ever do drag because you liked dressing in the women's clothes, or it's totally different?
yeah, I think drag would be fun. Like, I think it'd be fun here and there, but it's not necessarily my thing.
Okay.
I think it'd be kind of exhilarating to do, because like, so for me as a sissy, like I said, I experimented a lot throughout college. Like, I hooked up with guys, hooked up with girls, trans girls, had a couple threesomes. Like, I'll tell you one thing that's super nice is like taking dick and sucking dick at the same time. That's
Yeah.
amazing. If you haven't done that, that's something
Been
to
there,
try.
done that.
Yeah.
Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
Eiffel Tower.
Okay. Great. Exactly. Yeah. I was absolutely in love with that. Um, anyways, I'm just telling you guys some random weird stories, but to
No,
get back
that's
to like,
fine.
Do
yeah,
you tell people like early on your fetishes, or have you ever been on like what is it like
Fat life.
Fet Life and stuff
Life.
like that?
yeah, so I tried FetLife. It's like it was a little difficult. It's not really, I don't know. I feel like people just play so many games online as far as like trying to actually meet in person. Like Tinder even is like trying to actually meet one in person. It's like you got to pull teeth to get that to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's with any type of relationship, like,
Yeah,
even
like,
just hanging out for a first date, just,
yeah, and I guess it's like a safety
my bad, I'm
thing,
busy this
but
weekend. Yeah.
yeah, I get it. Like it's from a safety standpoint, 100%. Like be safe, but like I can video chat you. Like can we not just video chat before so that way you're more comfortable?
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
I agree.
whatever. But yeah, I was very scared to tell girls that I would date originally, and then I started becoming more open, and I would tell them, and then I mean, most of them stopped dating me for whatever reason it was. For the most part, a lot of them were usually cool with it. Like they weren't necessarily cool with it. Like they're like, okay, I'm okay with it. Like I'll try and understand, but just like take your time with me with things. Like I don't want to like, rush into something I don't want to do. And I was like, fair enough, that's okay. But so whether they left for one reason or another, like usually it wasn't necessarily because of that. But I kind of got the feeling it was at times. And then there were times where I would realize I was like, okay, you know what? Like I actually got really emotionally invested with these people. And then I told them all this, and then like I was like, I can't get emotionally invested and then tell people for the respect of myself and them. So I was like, I'd rather tell them, maybe not the first date, but
Second, third.
after we dated a couple times,
Yeah.
hung out, and like if they want to start getting physical with me, then I'd be like, okay, hey, let's just like talk about some things. Hey, this is kind of how I am with things, and just want to let you know before we get in a more emotionally invested relationship. So that way, it'd be fair to myself and to them that saying that a year or two down the road, and then you break up because of that, like that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, I feel like a year or two later to divulge your sexual fantasies is too long. I think like before the first time you have sex, if it's something, because this is something that you need. This is a fulfilling thing that you have to have in your life, right? In your partnership.
Yeah. So for me, it's like It's interesting. So I've been raised in a fairly traditional Christian family, right?
Does your family know? Does your parents know or no?
Yeah, half my family knows. Not
Okay.
everyone does.
Okay.
Yeah. And part of it was because like my sister found out randomly, and then like a very bizarre way, and I kind of shaked it off, but then I didn't want to lie, so I just explained to her, and I eventually told my mom. But yeah, I haven't told like my whole family, and I haven't told like all of my friends, but a decent amount of friends know, and I'll get to that like in a minute as to why. But yeah, like it's not something it's weird because like that's how I was raised, right? That in that traditional Christian family, but then also I don't necessarily believe in those values 100%. However, I do have a relationship and like a spiritual relationship with a higher being, if you will, like who I would call a higher being.
Yeah.
So when it comes to my spirituality and what my beliefs, some derived from Christianity, it definitely plays a taxing role on everyday life. It's a struggle as to, try not to live this way, if you will. Sexually, yeah, there's a lot of taboo that all kinds of taboo that people delve into. So for me, it's like, why I'm not any worse than anyone else when it comes to this sin or that, right? But it is definitely an internal struggle.
Hey, you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, I don't think it's a sin at all. It's your sexual preference. It's whatever the fuck you want to do. It's not like you're out there like, there's certain sexual things that are not okay, like snuff porn or,
raping someone.
Like that's like fucked up. But like, excuse me, what you're into, who gives a fuck? You like to dress up in women's clothing and you don't have a sexual preference. You like the person for who they are. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
And I get the Catholic belief is, against.
But they also say God loves everyone. So,
so
it's very
they can go
contradictory.
suck it.
Yeah,
Seriously.
exactly.
So I don't think that, again, everybody has their own internal struggles, but I don't think that you should ever have an internal struggle with your faith of what your sexual preference is, as long as you're happy and as long as you're a good person and making other people happy and doing the right thing. And if you're experimenting sexually to feel good, then who gives a fuck?
Yeah, exactly. And that's like what a lot of my friends say, to be honest. And again, like I'm very, like I said, I'm very in touch with my faith, if you will. And I don't think that any one sin is different from another, right? They're all weighted the same. But for me, it's the aspect of like, I don't think what I do in the bedroom, or if I'm just dressing up, or if I like to, if I like to get fucked with a strap on and, all that stuff, like, I don't think that's necessarily sinful. It's the aspect of when I sometimes like to do this publicly, right? Like I like to be seen as a woman publicly. Or,
do you do it in a public setting, or just like you DM people like how you DM'd me and Alex or something like that, and you like random people? Are you talking which one are you talking about? Like you don't go and fucking flash like random people in a park.
Oh, no. I don't mean in that aspect. No, I didn't mean like just going out walking around like that. No, no.
Like flashing your trench coat to like.
Yeah, no, I meant in the sense of like I want to dress up like as a girl and go like to the mall or something and go get my nails done.
I think you should
go shopping or but the thing about it is like, one, it's something I think is fun. Like I like doing girly things. Like that's why I kind of fall along the lines of like gender fluidity, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think it's like just having girls' nights, hanging out with my girlfriends and whatever, painting nails, watching movies, talking and whatnot. Like I like stuff like that. But it's also like that I feel like is okay. It's the idea of like wanting to be perceived as a girl is when it's like I'm not okay with myself, because I just have this idea in my head, and from what I've just learned and what I believe, that that a mistake wasn't made with how I am. Like I was born this way for a reason. I was born as like male for a reason. I even vision my future, as a father and having kids and whatnot. And so that's where it really, if you can understand, I guess, kind of where I have that internal battle with myself, But as of like right now, it's just like I just keep on like this urge to be a sissy is like it's always it's there a lot, and like it's more so just through sexual frustration, right? So it's not often you meet someone who is like, oh yeah, okay, I'm down to like turn you into sissy and like fuck you with a strap on and stuff. Yeah, no, it's not like you can walk around the corner and meet someone who's down to do that. So meeting those people, it's seldom. And then like for me, I don't really want to get sexually involved with someone unless like we have a good emotional connection because I connect with the person, right? And um, if I have that connection with them, then I feel like I can get sexually involved with them. So it's difficult to find people like that. Um, and so yeah, I have a lot of sexual frustration pent up with that. But the aspect of what it is like I've kind of told you guys that I have a lot of different fetishes and stuff, and a lot of what goes into sissification is like the humiliation aspect. Like you kind of just want to not to sound degrading toward women or to you ladies, but like it's the aspect of like a man going and taking on like a woman's role and in a sexual manner and like dressing like slutty and like a female or and then being treated like such sexually is degrading, right? It's supposed to be degrading. Like you want to feel degraded. Like, does that make sense? You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you
Like,
want them to call
the
you
most
like,
degrading thing?
yeah, like good girl, like, like stuff like that? Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the most degrading thing, I guess you could say, like for guys, like, throughout like history, like growing up as a guy, like the last thing you want to be is like told like you do something like a girl, right? You don't want to say like,
you
oh,
throw
look
like a girl.
or you get like a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So like a lot of what these ideas for this fetish are derived behind is just what society has told us over years and years and years, right? Because that's just like subconsciously in the back of our head. So it's like, oh, like if I want to be degraded, then like be treated like a girl kind of thing, right? Oh, so what is that? Like be forced to dress up, be forced to wear makeup, be forced to do things that a girl is, like forced to suck dick, like I have forced by fantasies, right? Like if I have a girlfriend, like she would force me to like suck some guy's dick or something, or to get fucked by him or whatever. Like there are a lot of fantasies and a lot of fetishes that I have. This also leads into like cuckolding and stuff, which like I have a huge fantasy of like I'd love for like my girlfriend to cuckold me, like and like tell me about guys who are fucking her, or tell me like, or like I'd love to sit there and watch her get fucked and like her tell me like how like I'm pathetic and worthless and how I can't pleasure her and that's why some other guy has to do it, or like tell me how I'm not a real man and like have me sitting there like dressed up like in the corner and like a dress and whatnot and like with like a chastity cage on my clit. That's something like us sissies, we call it our clitty.
Yeah, no, we've seen that before.
Yeah, so like stuff like that, like having a girl keep me in chastity to where I could only have sexual pleasure from anal penetration. Like I'm into stuff like that. Like I would love to have, like I have the idea or the fantasy of like I really would love for a woman to, like a dominant woman to come into my life and she keeps me in chastity all the time and only lets me come from anal penetration and only lets me come like a girl. It only lets me come like a sissy, if you will, from anal penetration. And like love for her to force me to do by things, like I'd love for her to like cuckold me and like tell me how I'm not a real man and not enough for her and stuff. And this goes back to a lot of like, I know I'm telling you all this stuff and like sometimes you can just be like drunk off of like, I don't know if you've ever heard people who are like really horny and they're just like drunk off of it, like, or high off of it. And like, but when it really boils down to it and you're like, like post nut clarity, if you've ever heard of that.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So you realize you're like, why did I just do that? Like, why did I just wear makeup and a dress and like fucking ride this dick and like have someone come down my throat kind of thing, like, right? Or have someone tell me I'm a little sissy slut and like that I'm worthless and have like the tiniest little clitty. Like, why? And like But then you're like, oh, this just really turns me on, because then, like, you know, the next day you want to do that or whatever, or an hour later. Um, and so for me, it's like, I really want that, and I haven't really found someone who's like just going to give that to me for me to like test it out and see, like, is this something I really want to do more regularly, and like have someone like this forced fantasy is also a lot of people who have this forced fantasy. If you've talked to some people, so I do a lot of research, I do a lot of study. I'm really huge into wellness, like health and wellness. I really believe that the mind is a powerful tool, and that you need to own it. If you're not mentally well, you can't be physically well or financially well or spiritually well. So I do a lot of research on this. Like, this is my biggest mental struggle. I know I have it. Everyone has their own. But I do a lot of research on this stuff, and I know a lot of the different fetishes and whatnot, and how they act and how they play back to childhood. I went to therapy for 2 years to learn more about myself. And I read a lot of books about it. And I know that a lot of stuff has to do with like your childhood, how you grow up, like the dynamic of the household that you live in, morals and values that were bestowed upon you from a young age, whether it was something you welcomed or was forced upon you. Simple different words that just stick with you differently, something you may have seen, whatever. Like, I could remember like a TV show when I was younger and seeing like, you know, like this witch or whatever, like turn a guy into a girl or something like that. It was like he was wearing girls' clothes or whatever. And like, that's something I still think about to this day, right? And this is something I saw when I was like a little kid. But that clearly is something that clicked in my brain with this whole dressing up idea, and being turned on by it. I would love to find someone who's down to like kind of have like a full on relationship that way, like who would maybe push me to be a sissy more often, because part of the aspect of it and why I feel bad doing it in public is the humiliation, right? Like, I think I was even told you, like I want you to like, you know, like part of it's like posting pictures, right? Like, oh, you want someone to like post your pictures, like now you're outed, now you have to transition, now you have to become a girl, like everyone knows now, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of like the forced feminization, like forced fantasy, is like some people have, is like, well, some people who are trans or who have this idea, like they're scared or they're tired of hiding it, and they just want someone to force them out of hiding it, so that way they can't hide it anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like, if I come out, right, then it's like, oh, I did it, it was my choice. But if someone else chooses it for you, then it feels like it's easier, because it's like, no, it's not true, someone else said it, right? So that's kind of like how that forced fantasy comes into play. It's like, oh, well, if someone's forcing me to do it, then I'm not choosing to dress up, right? As I'm currently sitting here in a skirt and broad panties talking to girls. But yeah, so it's like, I mean, I voluntarily do it, clearly, but the idea of having someone force you to do it makes you feel less guilty. It's like, oh, okay, they're forcing me to dress up. Like, I have no control over this.
Yeah, like I'm not choosing it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Or like, that's why, like, and it's tough, because it's like, how does a girl really, like, I mean, not to say that women are weak, but I'm a pretty decent sized guy, so it's like, how is a girl like physically going to assume power over me in like in the bedroom kind of thing? So it's like, what do you do? Oh, like,
handcuffs.
Give them pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, handcuffs. Yeah. So, well, I was thinking of more like the mental aspect of it, where you give them pictures, right? And now it's like the whole like blackmail thing, like, oh, well, if you don't do what I say, then I'm going to show everyone your sissy pictures, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
That's a big part of findom too, where they have that like as a blackmail thing, hanging it over your head. I'm going to out you to your wife, your boss, your whoever, if you don't pay me.
Exactly. Like, that's a huge thing. And like, I'm very familiar with findom, because like, I don't necessarily go into it. Like, I've dabbled in it here and there. Like, I've, you know, paid someone to, you know, treat me like a little sissy slut over the phone and whatnot. But that was like something cheap, and someone who wasn't professional. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, like, I'm not like to be too prideful, but in my, manly or male form, if you will, like I'm a pretty, most say like I'm a very attractive man. This is why a lot of people don't understand why I do what I do, at least women, when I start dating them or whatever. They're like, why? Like, you're such an attractive guy. Like, why, you could get any girl you want kind of thing. And like, they say that, and it's like, well, like, I understand, like, sometimes I look myself in the mirror and I have a little bit of gender dysphoria and I don't feel that way. But like, sometimes I do. I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm confident in myself as a man, but then like, it doesn't mean like I still don't have these fetishes that keep, coming to mind that I want to enact. And yeah, so like, I don't know. I'm just kind of went on rambling and telling you like everything, but yeah. Any other questions or anything you want to say? I kind of just
no, we loved it. We got a lot of information from you, and I was very interested in all of that. Yeah. Alex and I were just talking before you called in about like the psychology behind everything, because technically this is not, what you do is not the norm per se, quote unquote, but what the fuck is normal at this point in our lives?
Yeah.
Nothing,
like,
hey, to each their own too. Just because I say I'm not into something, but I'm into other stuff, it's like,
yeah. And it doesn't, it's not like the norm. Like, it's not like the fucking, missionary dry vanilla shit, but it's what you like and it's what you prefer. But then again, like, there always is like a psychology behind everything. It's like the, what is it called? Degradation, like the
being
fact that you like being degraded, there's something to say about that too.
But do you like believe, like, do you take it to heart what they actually say, or is it just kind of like an in the moment thing, like a sexual thing? Or do you go home at night and like lay awake and think about it? Like,
you're like, I am a sissy.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm a big believer in the mind and assuming power over your mind, right? You control the mind, you control your life,
right.
Whether you're paralyzed or not. And like, so it's super powerful tool, which is why I'm really just learning so much about why I like these things, is because I don't want these to essentially control me, but there are times like when you're like horny and you just go dumb, like you're like, I'm just a dumb sissy whore and I just want to be treated like that. And so you got to be careful with it when it comes to that aspect. So like I said, I kind of like am in the point in my life where I want to try this. And like, so if someone tells me, like, I guess to answer your question before going to that, if someone tells me that stuff, I don't necessarily take it to heart. Okay. Again, like I'm doing a lot of good things in my life, when I go around in my daily life. And I hold myself to a high standard, and people know that. And people are like, okay, this person is doing that and that. Like, oh, well, how come you're not doing this? Like, if I'm not doing something like that, people will question me, right? So it's almost also like being Sissy Kylie is also like an escape for me, right? I'm sure you've heard through the world of fetishes, like a lot of people who are like CEOs, higher ups, this and that, like have some weird ass fetishes where they like to give up control and give up power.
That's right? Anybody that goes to a dominatrix is, or I would say 90% of a dominatrix client is all very high profile people. Senators, government, cops, lawyers, CEOs, stockbrokers with normal families that make a ton of fucking money that can afford $2,000 cash in a fucking hour to be pegged. You know what I mean? But they like that. They separate it so it doesn't involve their family. It's a paid thing, and they get to be humiliated and degraded for an hour, and it's their release. Yeah, exactly. Their release is exactly what it is, right? So for me, that's what I'm trying to understand, compartmentalize, and if it needs to be compartmentalized, right? Like I said, I'm in the position right now where after like all the research I've done and stuff, I want to try and like actually just go out more as a girl, see how I like it, see how I'm treated, see how I am with my friends, like go get a mani-pedi, like go shopping for panties at Victoria's Secret, like, maybe go on a date with a guy and
somewhere as a girl. I've never done that, but like at least try it. Like I'm wanting to explore this sissy side of me more so, like, and see if it's like something I want to do more full time. Because I haven't tried that yet, and I want to try it at least before I make a decision, kind of thing, you know. And but yeah, like you said, and that's kind of how I am. You know, I do a lot of things. I do a lot of good things for myself and for others, and I really hold myself to a high standard. And when people see that, they hold you to that standard, right? You live a high stress lifestyle almost. Like it's not good to stress, you know. I do my best not to. I try to live presently and not so much in the past or the future. But because that's where anxiety is derived from. But the idea of like doing this full time, like it's scary, right? Because I do a lot of things where in my everyday life where like I couldn't necessarily do that. So more full time wouldn't be necessarily full time, but maybe like 75% of the time, if you will, or 50% of the time versus currently like 5% of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like an escape. It's like nice. So it's like, wow, would I be able to feel more relaxed more often if I did this more? And I did it publicly? Would I be able to just like feel relieved? You know, like I like this escape for me or is like such a nice release. And it's like I know it when I feel really stressed or really worried about something is when I start going to this. And that's when I start going, okay, I need a break from what I'm doing. Like, it's just too much. I need to have a good release. And that's what it is, right? The everyday life, me as a man, like doing this, you know, like working out, doing all these kinds of things. Like people see me as like a, you know, tall, strong, attractive, goal-oriented man. And then they don't know that like I'm a bitch in the sheets kind of thing, you know, like and why do I do that is because like, it's the complete opposite of my daily life.
Right.
Like, so how do you get it to where people don't take you seriously and then drop the standard and just have fun and I mean, laugh with you or laugh at you, if you will, and just have a joke about it? Be the complete opposite. So what's the complete opposite of that tall, strong, goal-oriented, driven man is a little sissy girl who likes to wear panties and a dress and get fucked. Like, literally, is right? So, yeah, it's just like, this is stuff I've all learned. You know, I didn't know when I was younger, but I've learned over the years. And I'm just trying to see now, like, if this is something I can do a little more often, though. Do I want to go out and do this? Like, there's times where I just want to go to the mall and just go shopping and whatnot. But then, like, I get turned on by it. Like, I get turned on so much. Like, the thought of, like, I'll just go out and go for a walk. And I'll just go in, like, my clothes and like, you know, 11 o'clock at night. Not many people are going to see me. And I just get so turned on by it. And it's the aspect of that, like, you know, is someone going to catch me? Like, the public humiliation kind of thing. It's a huge adrenaline rush.
Yep.
And I love it. Like, it's like I freaking crave it. And, you know, like, it goes into like the whole pictures thing and social media aspect and whatnot. And, yeah, I mean, even right now, like I'm sitting in my car. I have housemates and they don't really know that I'm like this. So, but I'm sitting in my car and I'm in like a skirt and my bra and a thong and a little pink crop top. Yeah. And I'm like, I like this because I'm like sitting in my car and it's like, ooh, like, you know, someone might see me kind of thing, you know?
I think you
Right.
should go for a walk or go out to a bar like that.
Say what?
You should venture out. If it's something that you want to do, I think you should venture out like this and experiment a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like right now I was even contemplating like going out and walking around.
I would. I don't think if it's something that brings you pleasure, I think you should search into it more and dive into it more. I mean, if it obviously makes you feel that good and like brings you such sexual pleasure, I think, I mean, this is my personal belief. Like, I ain't holding back from something that brings me sexual pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm diving into that shit.
She goes, yeah, like, yeah, I wish I could say that. Like, if I was someone else, like, I I do say too, like if I could live two lives or in a different life or something, like I would like wanna maybe try, just being a sissy all the time.
Go on
And
vacation
like,
and do it there for the entire vacation or something like that.
yeah, so like as it's funny you say that. Actually lived abroad for a little bit of time, like almost a year, and over there, like most people I met, I kind of explained to them how I was. Not everyone, but most people. And I was on Tinder out there as a sissy, and I currently am on Tinder as a sissy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've met like really cool people, and I've met a lot of people who are into this shit, and it's cool. It's just a matter of like getting them to actually meet me,
Yeah.
And then when I was abroad, it was like you don't know anyone, right? Like you're in a completely new place, you don't know anyone. Like the whole like the scary part of it is like of doing this or transitioning or pursuing a lifestyle or trying to pursue this lifestyle a little bit is the repercussions of those who have known you for your life.
Yeah,
right?
I get that.
And so if it's just brand new people, you don't, oh, I've only known you for a little bit. It's not super emotional. Should we part ways? So yeah, I was all about that. I didn't take advantage of going out in public though. I was still too scared. I wish I did though. Like going back, I totally would. But yeah, I mean, now it's just something I kind of want to do. I've opened up to more friends about it. Half the people who know that I'm a sissy is because the whole public humiliation aspect, right? Like I told someone, and then like they were with their friends, and then they're like, "You want me to tell my friends?" And I was like, "Yeah, do it." And they told their friends, and then it all started from there. And then a bunch of people wound up finding out, and a lot of people know. And some people I've told specifically because like there was one time I had a mistress and she told me to tell people. So I told people. Yeah, and there's one time I had, I'm also into, I don't know if you know what age regression is or age play.
No. Is that like a baby?
So, yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah, like adult baby syndrome.
We love them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we love the
yeah.
babies.
Okay, so I'm not totally like familiar or like a veteran with that one. I've dabbled in it a bit. I haven't like worn a diaper or anything, although I would like to. And I haven't gone into that too much, but I do have like a couple of past experiences with some mommies, if you will. I like the idea of a mommy over a daddy, although I've called many strong black men daddy before. Yeah, I go for the BBC. So I do like me a big black cock.
Good for you.
No regrets there. But yeah, so like I've had a couple mommies and like they've done that where, I mean, they'll just treat me like they're a baby girl and dress me up. Unfortunately, I didn't have diapers ever, which is something I wanted to do, but that person like fell off the face of the earth and I don't know what happened to them. But yeah, that was really kind of interesting and I liked that. And like literally I would just sit there, like she would like nurse me and stuff. And it was really like, it was a turn on, not as much as like the whole sissification, but like sissification can play into age regression, like being treated like a little baby girl kind of thing. And it was good. I liked it. It's kind of like still giving up that power, giving up control, and like someone else is taking care of you. But yeah.
So you incorporate it all.
Yeah, you've done a lot.
Yeah, like I said, I've done a lot of shite. Like, I mean, yeah, and like, yeah, like I said, I've had a couple daddies here and there, and yeah, I like me a strong black daddy. It's just something about them. I mean, half of it's like a lot of sissification is like too, like especially the cuckolding aspect, like that, like a real man, right? And like, so who's like a real man, like a tall, strong, muscular black man with like a huge cock is going to satisfy your girl instead of you kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
So like that's kind of how that played into it. So that's my flavor of men, if you're curious. But yeah, I've kind of tried a lot of this stuff. And like one of the weirdest things I've done, I'd say, like you can take a guess if you want.
Tell us. We've heard some weird shit. We've had guys set their dicks on fire. We've had some, we've had some crazy shit.
Yeah, and like the ball busting
Sounding
stuff, I know that's the
rods,
thing.
yeah.
I'm not into sounding or ball busting. Like, and I get kicked in the nuts, I want to throw up. Like,
yeah.
so that's not my
sounding
thing.
creeps me out.
Yeah, and the sounding, that's very, very scary. Very scary. Yeah, you can stick like a cock up my ass, but don't stick anything in
the pee hole.
Cootie hole.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, so like I actually have had a girl pee on me before.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and like, that's it.
We're so desensitized now
Yeah,
after
yeah.
doing this
So,
podcast.
Yeah, like which I guess like a girl fucking me in the ass is like maybe weirder than that, but like, but yeah, I had a girl pee on me one time, and like it was hot just because like it's kind of degrading, right? Like you're sitting there, like you're nothing but like my toilet kind of thing, right? Like the girl's just pissing on you. So like yeah, I liked that. But yeah, I feel like I kind of told you a lot.
Was it in the shower or was it just like in the bed where she peed on you?
Yeah, it was in the shower. Okay. Hell no, I wasn't about to mess up my bed. Yeah, it was in the shower. Yeah, because I was like,
sheets.
I was like, no, not messing up my bed. Nope. So yeah, that was in the shower. I would still do that. Like that's something I would do again. Like because like I said, the whole degrading aspect of it.
Well, yeah,
like,
you could just
really
wash it off with soap right afterwards. Who doesn't pee in the shower?
And like,
I sure as fuck do.
Exactly.
What?
And if someone drinks a lot, then it's who doesn't pee in the shower? What the hell?
Alex, you don't pee in the shower?
No, the toilet's right next to the shower.
I always pee in the shower.
Ew. Okay, Miss Germaphobe.
When you have that warm water on you, you don't want to just pee in the shower? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I pee in the shower.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to try it tomorrow. See what I'm missing.
Yeah, let us know what happens.
I will.
Oh my God. That's funny. So, yeah. So, like, that's kind of, I don't know, that's like a lot about me. That's kind of like where I am and what I'm trying to do is like trying to figure out, like, I just really like, I don't know. I'm still into this huge like exposure fantasy, like being exposed for the sissy that I am and whatnot. Like, I'm sure you've heard about that fantasy.
So you're saying you want us to post you on social media?
I was just going to say, do you want us to put you on our Twitter? Because we can.
I know, like I would, it's like one of those things where like I really want it. And then like, you know, the post nut clarity sometimes is like, do you want it or do you not?
Yeah. Well, think about it and let us know.
Yeah, we could totally do it if you want us to. Just give us the green light. We got your sissy pictures. And if you want us to put it on our Twitter page isn't very popular anyway, but.
Okay. I mean, it's like
the only
always
place it
like,
won't get taken down.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, like that's the thing is like, I want it, you know, like I would love to. And like, I don't know, I've had a couple of people expose me. Like I've had a couple of pages expose me. And it's like a huge turn on. Like, oh my God, it's like, you just love it. And then you don't want it. And then you want it. And then like, you just keep wanting it. Yeah. Like even right now, I'm like really wanting to go walk around outside right now in my skirt and stuff.
You should.
Take a walk down the street. Yeah, I might just do it. I mean, like,
listen, you only
have
powers. Yeah, YOLO.
YOLO, yeah. I mean, I gotta start sometime if I want to try to start being a sissy more in public. Plus, I mean, like,
and the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get.
And
so.
who cares what other people think? This is your life. Live the best life you have. Don't live it for anybody else. That's how I feel. I do whatever the fuck I want when I want, if it's gonna embarrass me or not.
Well, I just stepped out of the car, so I'm walking around right now.
Yes. Good. Go, Sissy Kylie.
I've got my stockings and my short little skirt showing off my Well, the only thing is like my clitty is kind of hanging out.
Yeah, pull your clitty out.
You want it to?
If you want to.
Oh, I
Just
was
don't
like,
do it in
what?
front of people. You don't get arrested.
No. I was
Go
like,
up to someone's window.
Yeah,
and
just
pull
put
it
your
out.
clitty on there. Like peekaboo.
yeah.
Especially
Don't
if
think
they're
I'll do
eating
that
dinner.
But yeah, I mean, I do have like my ass is kind of hanging out, and I'm wearing my thong. So
Good for you.
Yes. I love this.
yeah, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm basically just trying to find someone and pursue this a little more because it's something that like like I said, I feel like I gotta like try it more like publicly before I know if it's something I really want or not.
Start doing it like once a week and then like work your way up.
Yeah, and then I think maybe on like FetLife you could find people. I know like the dating apps and all that shit is a little but I think there's people more with like similar sexual fetishes, and you can narrow it down to the sexual fetish that you want on FetLife, even if you just FaceTime with them or chat with them for a little bit. I know a lot of people found people with similar fetishes on there.
Yeah, that's true. I could try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, any other like, was there anything else? I know I told you guys, so I'm sure you guys might have some questions, but like, was there anything you had pertaining to?
No, that was great.
I think you answered a lot of our questions, and thank you so much for calling in and explaining everything to us, because we definitely had some questions about it, but I think you thoroughly went over everything.
Oh, of course. Well, I'm glad I was able to chat with you about it and whatnot. Again, if you ever want to, I guess, have a chat or something, or if you just want to, humiliate a little sissy like myself, then you guys can go ahead and give me a call or something.
All right, we will
gladly do that, and have fun walking around in your outfit. Keep us posted.
Alrighty, I appreciate it.
All right,
have a
Kylie,
good
have
night.
a great night.
All right, you as well.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that answered our questions.
Like, it was like, speak of the devil. He said he couldn't call in. And then we were like, we want to know about small penis humiliation. That's not, he doesn't even have a small penis.
No,
but it's the
it's-
humiliation.
Right.
And he does like small penis humiliation, because you don't necessarily need to have a small penis
Right.
to have small penis humiliation. It's all about the fucking humiliation aspect of it.
Correct.
And he was a smart guy too, and he knows that it's crazy that like he knows that everything is mind over matter stuff,
Right.
but it's still the part of your brain that you can't control. And he knows that these thoughts, and it doesn't, like, he says that these thoughts are not thoughts that he should have, even though who gives a fuck, but like it's still, and he works, like his job is like working with the brain, and
Right.
like, but it's, I don't know, I think that's just crazy that he is like, he almost sounds like he's in a psychology degree for his job, but he didn't say that.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. Well, thank you, Sissy Kylie, for calling in.
We love you.
We love you, Sissy Kylie. We also want to talk about
How you spent your New Year's?
how I spent my fucking New Year's. My dumb ass swore I was immune to COVID. So did Al. Alex, you think you're immune to it too.
I 100% am.
I thought I was too. I didn't get it. I was COVID clear for fucking
2.5 years now.
And you work from home. I'm like
Yeah.
in the fucking dead center of it.
Right.
I see hundreds of people every single day at my job, and I'm
Right.
across from them. And it's sure as fucking shit the day before New Year's Eve I got it. So that's how I rang in my ear. Disappointed,
Well,
but
everyone
not
at your
surprised.
job had it, so it was like inevitable.
It was
pretty much.
inevitable. I kind of knew that I was going to get it. Because like the Tuesday before New Year's Eve, one of the guys had to finish a deal, and he was hovering me, but he knew he had COVID.
I would have killed him.
And then I like had COVID 2 days later. It wasn't bad though. Literally, I'm sorry. I mean, granted, everybody reacts differently to it. Some people were hospitalized, so I shouldn't make light of it. Some people died from it.
Yeah.
For me, it was a fucking sinus infection. That's literally all it was.
Right.
And then my boyfriend, he got it too, because of course I gave it to him.
Right.
And his was a sinus infection too. And it's just like getting our energy back that was like a little bit, it's been slow getting the full energy back. And like my head has been hurting a lot, but that's really it. So, and then like your cousin said the same thing.
Right. Yeah, she got it. But then I was with her and I didn't get it. I've been around a lot of people that have had it and I never got it.
Well, that was me for the entire time until recently when this little fucker was literally hovering over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I got it. So I'm an Omicroner. Omicron? What is it?
Omicron? I have no
Omicron?
fucking idea. I don't even care
I ain't
anymore.
a Delta or I ain't the OG kind. I'm an Omicroner. So I'm like just getting over this shit.
Well, good, because now you have the antibodies, so
Yeah.
now you don't have to worry about it.
Although they were saying like you shouldn't just get COVID to get it over with, to get the antibodies.
Oh, whatever. They also said wear 10 masks at one point. So, like...
One of my
They
coworkers,
also said the vaccines works, but everybody that's vaccinated is getting fucking COVID.
my boyfriend vaccinated COVID.
And his symptoms weren't any less than yours.
They weren't any less or worse than mine. I'm not vaccinated, got COVID.
Yeah, so miss me with that.
So that's how I rang in my new year. And
Disappointed
but not surprised, guys. So welcome to season 3 of Disappointed but Not Surprised. Go follow us on all social media. Instagram is Disappointed but Not Surprised. Facebook is Disappointed but Not Surprised Pod. Twitter and TikTok is Podcast DBNS. Mm-hmm. And also, Sissy Kylie just texted us that he wants us to put him on blast on podcast. So you can find his pictures, Sissy Kylie, on Twitter. Podcast
The only place we
DBNS.
don't get banned from.
The only place we don't get banned from. All right, guys, before we close out.
Confession Corner. Okay, first confession. I spilled like 6 pints of beer's worth on a kid and I don't feel bad. Good. I wouldn't either.
Fucker.
This kid was running full speed through the restaurant. Like full speed. I was carrying a tray full of beers, probably 6, and I tried to sidestep this kid and he runs full on into my legs. 2 glasses fell, but luckily not on him. He was soaked by beer, though, as they fell behind him. I caught the other 4 on the tray with my arm, but a large portion of the wheat juice got him good. He starts crying, and I felt internally satisfied. That's what you get for running in a restaurant. A valuable lesson, and nobody got hurt. I know his parents will be taught an even more valuable lesson about letting their child run through an extremely busy restaurant. You know what? Good. Too bad the glass didn't fall on his head and he got a concussion. No, because
Control your fucking kids.
I hate when people let their kids run rampant. It irks me. Like, discipline the motherfucker.
Well, we at my job at the dealership, the amount of kids that are slamming car doors and running and like, if their fingers get caught in the door, I'm probably gonna fucking laugh. At that point.
Exactly.
You don't slam these car doors, and then we have some cars that are like $50,000, and you're like running in them, like slamming them, laughing, banging in them.
And the thing is, it's like
that?
you can't even blame the kid. Like, you more blame the parent.
The parent
because,
for being a dick,
right? And like, discipline your fucking kids. Sit there and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, kids don't know better unless they're disciplined.
Like, I was never like beat or anything as a child, but
I
like
was well behaved.
we knew how to behave. Like, you don't act like that or you get taken home.
Right.
Plain and simple.
You know what? I ain't mad about the beer being spilt on the kid.
I'm not mad at all.
All right, next confession. Next and last confession. My boyfriend eats tuna by candlelight.
Weird flex, but okay.
He eats tuna fish sandwiches in the bathroom by candlelight and calls it a vibe. I didn't find out about this until today, just now, when he got up and said he was going to make some tuna fish sandwiches for his bath and asked if I wanted to make some to join him. Apparently, this is a regular occurrence, and he's been doing it for years whenever he would take a bath or smoke a dab pen in the restroom before he moved out of his mom's. I'm not like upset. I told him that if my food touches the bathroom air or surfaces, I'd lose my shit, and we laughed about it, so it's not a deal breaker, but God, is it weird. And then she wrote in again, I just found out he puts cheese on them too.
Number one, ew. Like, tuna fish grosses me out in general. It reminds me of cat food.
Yeah.
And second of all, there's like shit particles floating in the air in the bathroom, and you're like eating in there. Like, that's wrong on so many levels.
That is so weird. Okay, I'm going to say two things too, because the shit that you find out when you're in a fucking relationship. Okay, the tuna fish is fucking weird. But when I was in COVID with my boyfriend, I didn't realize, like, we're only 6 months in, and I guess he's been on his best behavior so far. Like,
They usually are.
in the first 6 months, yo, this motherfucker makes full meals at like 4 o'clock in the morning when he gets up to pee, and then he just hops back into bed. He ate garlic knots in the middle of the night.
His breath must have
Didn't
been
brush his
wonderful.
teeth, did not brush his teeth, and then hops back into bed. And I'm like, what the fuck? I hear him like snacking on chips in the like 2 nights ago, and I hear this like really loud crunching. And then I go and wake up the next morning, and I like didn't know if I was dreaming because I'm still sick from being so sick that my sleep is like really heavy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if I was like dreaming. And then I get up yesterday morning, and there's like a fucking protein shake in the garbage that was like milk based. Fucking, he ate corn chips at like 3 o'clock in the morning when he got up to pee and drank a protein shake.
Mine does that too, though. I think it's a man thing. Like, all of a sudden I'll hear like, like, and it's like Chex Mix.
He ate lamb last night. Fucking, we got Greek food last night. So now this has become like a thing. Like, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. He gets up to pee, eats a fucking meal of like meat, cheese, and protein shakes, and like hops back into bed.
Oh my God.
And it's the smelliest shit. It's the garlic knots. It's all that stuff. Also, another side note, I had a friend that broke up with somebody because you know how everybody leaves a glass of water next to their fucking bed?
Yeah.
He had chocolate milk next to his fucking bed.
That's disgusting.
That's
why do I
disgusting.
just picture it with flies all over it? I don't know why.
So she broke up with him. Like, it was literally, she was like, dude, he would wake up and he would drink chocolate milk and he would have that as his bedside table, like, beverage.
Ew, then it's like stuck on your teeth like sweaters.
Yes.
That's gross. Ew.
How do you think I feel about the protein shake at night that's
Yeah.
dairy-based?
Is he, like, farting in
doesn't
his
brush
sleep?
his teeth. Oh my God, the shit that we put up with.
But like, if you're up, okay, so when I have to get up at night to pee, I get so angry because I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna lose like my sleepiness.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine like going to eat something.
Yo,
and
he
then
ate like
coming
stuffed
back to
shells
bed.
and microwave them and then just hops back into bed.
Wait, well, the night of Christmas, I like snuck out and ate lasagna at like 5 a.m. But whatever.
I guess because it's like in the fridge.
Yeah, it was the leftovers, and I was like, I don't know, I didn't really like eat that much on Christmas because I was like hosting it, so I was like busy doing other shit. So then I was like, ooh.
Lasagna at 4 o'clock in the morning.
But I didn't have work the next day, so that's also different. Like when I have work in the morning the next day, I like just try to hop right back into bed so I don't lose my tired.
Well, we were COVIDing, so he didn't have any fucking work to go to.
So he was going to town.
Yo, he was going to town. Like, I was asleep and he's just eating bowls of cereal at the kitchen table.
I think it's a man thing.
So funny.
They all do that. Like
his brother
every
does
guy,
the same thing.
Yeah.
I asked his sister-in-law, who's my good friend, if his brother eats like an array of fucking food in the middle of the night. And she goes, oh yeah, I walked out to the kitchen and he's got like meat and cheeses spread out. And it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, what are you doing, bud? He's like, eating cheese. She goes, okay. And like just goes back to bed.
Oh my God.
I don't know if it's like a guy thing or it's like
I think it is, because I don't know. I would wake up in the morning feeling gross.
I would feel disgusting if I ate stuffed shells in the middle of the night.
Right?
or like protein shakes and garlic knots, dude.
No.
The next morning, it was
That's,
like coming
sits
through
in
his
your
fucking
stomach.
pores, and like it sits in his stomach. And I was like, you stink.
Oh my God.
Thank God, like I was so clogged, sinusy that I couldn't like smell it all that bad. But like, yo, you find out a lot about somebody when you're stuck with them during quarantine.
Oh, 100%.
You find out more about somebody when you're like stuck quarantining than you are like as a fucking married couple just living your day-to-day life.
There was like an article on something, and it was about a girl who they weren't from America, they were from somewhere else, and the country went on like lockdown. She was on a first date with a guy.
Yeah,
you saw that. And she had to,
China
like,
or whatever.
quarantine in his apartment for like however long.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
saw
well,
a blog
they're gonna
about
get
that.
to know each other really
Real
well,
fucking
really quick.
Yo, imagine if that was like your only clothes that you had. I don't even understand that. How do you go on a full lockdown like all of a sudden, like purge style?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's bullshit. They would have had to have announced like, this is what we're doing,
Right.
and you could
It's
have gone
not
home.
like you could go home. It's not like, hey, you're just stuck here and you're locked in his fucking apartment.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing, I saw that though, where she was from like an Asian country and she went on a first date and then she got locked there in quarantine or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably like clickbait bullshit, but still, like, imagine.
Yeah, like, hey, nice to meet you. I guess we're doing this.
Well, remember our one friend that went home with the guy at the music festival and stayed at his house for 3 days and did not shower once?
Oh, yeah. And he was like,
he was like,
dude, don't you
"Please
need to
shower."
go home? And
Yeah.
she's like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah. And then he was like, well, do you want to take a shower? And she's like, no, I'm good. Like, we were at a music festival sweating our freaking tits and vaginas off for like 12 hours. And then you like just didn't
Hop
shower
into bed.
for days.
I wouldn't let that person in my fucking sheets after being at a music festival
No.
sweating like that.
Hell no.
She's so weird anyway, though.
I
We kind of want to get her on the pod because her life is fascinating.
We got to get her on.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed Sissy Kylie. Go check them out on our Twitter page, Podcast DBNS, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised. Disappointed but not surprised.